One people, one voice, one purpose, one choice. Can you get your heads around this? Can you understand the true meaning of what I'm about to talk about? Every day I wake up, I try to learn something new. I try to open my mind, open my eyes, my ears to something that my perceptions were wrong about. Although I'm a deeply spiritual man, it's just not about my spirituality. There's a lot of things that goes on around me that I don't understand, that I question. Even something within my faith. But the main thing that perplexes me, the main thing that I try to wrap my head around, to try to grab hold of any integrity, any credence, is people. Especially people in this country, the richest country in the world, that has so much, and are so selfish, gluttons of waste, so unappreciative, so many ingrates, that you just don't understand how good it is. And I'm not talking about those who make videos or those who rebel against injustice. That's who we are as humanity. That's what built this country. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't see, and they're aggravated about. They're pissed off. They go out and protest, like what I read on Facebook this morning. And the reason why I'm making this video today. Do you really know what illegal immigration is? Do you really understand a governmental infrastructure of hypocrisy and corruption cannot legislate immigration? Especially those who preach against illegal immigration when your forefathers, foremothers, siblings, relatives, descendants are all illegal immigrants. You understand what I'm saying here? How can you make a law that says immigrants from certain countries are illegal when you yourself, your history, your so-called founding of this country was based on illegal immigrants? The day that you stepped ground on America's shore, the Native American Indian was already here. Although in your history books you won't say that, you won't tell the truth that we stole a country from an innocent, peaceful people. And yet you want to fly a flag. You want to make a constitution. You want to make a preamble. You want to talk about a democracy. You want to talk about a governing body for the people, by the people, when you rob the country from a people. And most of you think that makes sense. Really. Really. See, I find that hard to embrace. That you want to sit in a selfish, arrogant, pompous position and dictate to the very people that you stole the country from, that you genocide. And we talk about all the children are being killed by mass murders in this country, but we say nothing about the children that we mass murdered and so-called founding this country. The innocent men, women, and children slaughtered like animals. U.S. soldiers taking their sabers, slicing a woman from her vagina all the way up to her head. Yeah, and as gross as that sounds, that's actually what happened. Taking babies, slicing their heads off. Yeah, but we don't hear about that side of history. Our perception of the American Indian, they were savages. Ruthless, heartless killers. Raped their women. Stole from us. And in all truth and reality, it was a lie. The American cavalry, the American army, was the savages. Just like today we call terrorists. Just like back then, you are the terrorists. Because how can you sit there calling yourselves legislators, calling yourself lawmakers, calling yourself politicians, a government for the people, by the people, and have the audacity to talk about illegal immigration? That statement within itself doesn't make a bit of sense to a people who stole the country from the people that were here. Now, mind you, I got a problem with some illegal immigrants here. Yes, I do. Mexicans who are here send their money to Mexico to take care of their family. Used the tax system, like the child tax credit. Making money from the system. And your children are living in Mexico. I got a problem with that. In fact, hell, I got a problem with the IRS. Knowing for years that $4.2 billion of child tax credit fraud are going to such people. And you do nothing about it. And the House of Representatives are aware of everything that's going on. And yet you still too set in that position of plausible deniability. But yet, here's the kicker. You'll put American people in jail. You'll freeze their assets. You'll take their homes away for not paying taxes. But you'll give these so-called illegal immigrants a free ride in this country. Free health care, Social Security, driver's license. So pretty much, you're hypocrites. You talk out of two corners of your mouth. At one side of your mouth, you're saying illegal immigrants are the worst thing this country can face. In the other corner of your mouth, you're saying, come on over. We'll take care of you. We got you. We'll give you all those things. Because that 1% in America, the rich and wealthy, need you. As their gardeners, their housekeepers, working in their factories for below minimum wage, do the nasty jobs that people in America won't do, but at one time would do, back in the Depression, to feed your family. See, the irony of all of this, it's a perpetuated lie, as most of history is in this country. A perpetual lie that was generated by a class of people, just like those in the GOP, those on Fox News, racist, bigoted asses, who are no more than low-life, ethnocentric fools. Now understand one thing. We can go back and talk about Africa. Once again, you go to another country, taking something that is not yours. China, same thing. Taking something that is not yours. And yet and still, you want to sit in your little pompous, arrogant, mundane position of political corruption and talk about illegal immigration. When you yourselves, right now, are illegal immigrants. This is not your country. As much as we can profess God bless America, which you don't believe in God anyway. So it's all built on an infrastructure of hypocrisy and lies. Why it is so corrupt. How can something illegal from its origin become legal? How can something built on injustice be justice? Who can implement justice? Why your court system is corrupt? Why the very foundation of our government is corrupt? Because it was founded on corruption and lies and thievery. Don't get me wrong. I love my country. I'd give my life for my country. But it doesn't exemplify the truth. We oftentimes in this society, we try to sensationalize, beautify our present and past criminality. Those of President Nixon, those of Clinton, those of President Bush, son and father, and the Reagan administration. We believe that if we suppress it enough, cover it up enough, as time goes by, American people forget, which we do. But you have no right to talk about illegal immigration if you yourself are illegal immigrants. That's like the pot calling the kettle black. That's like looking in the mirror and telling yourself, you know, I'm honest. In all intents and purposes, you know you're the biggest liar out there. You know what an integrity is? Integrity is to see your mistake, to see what you have done wrong, and to rectify it. You don't rectify it by putting people on reservations. You don't rectify it by pumping alcohol and casinos on these reservations to once again to suppress, as you do in trailer park America, as you do in ghetto America, as you do in working class America. You suppress. You thinking by pumping in drugs, pumping in alcohol, pumping in high unemployment. You know, this causes people, okay, to lose hope, to lose their dream. But yet and still, those same people you steal from every day. With these things you call taxes. But we fought against the redcoats, against England, the British, because of taxation. The whole Tea Party thing that you even right now. Oh man, even right now, you perverted that meaning. These Tea Parties out here now are a bunch of bigots and delusional, mentally ill fools. That's what I'm talking about. You just change things up that in your mind that is justified. That's some mentally ill shit. I'm sorry. But yet and still, prisons are full of the same people that pass out those laws, that sit behind that judge seat, that stand up as a prosecutor and stand up as lawyers and defense attorneys. You're the criminals? How can criminals pass down justice? You tell me that. I want anybody out there with any level of intellectual ability. How can criminals pass judgment? It's like that statue who's supposed to exemplify justice. The balances of justice. Her eyes are not wide open. Her eyes are covered up. She's blind. And that depicts justice. It's blind. It doesn't see the truth. It doesn't see the reality. Just like history. So you want to get on this bandwagon about illegal immigration? Get in your cars, every single one of you. See, I'm part American Indian. I'm part Delaware Indian. Because the Shockley family were mixed with Indian. Reason why this holds a special place in my heart. And it pisses me off when people talk about illegal immigration. Although parts of immigration pisses me off too. Don't get it wrong. If you're going to come into a country, and I don't care which country it is, you bring your family like everybody else did. And you try to better. You also get involved with the economy. But even that within itself doesn't make a bit of sense either in this country, because those who came over here stole this country from the American Indian. Did you give to these people? No, you took away. So even in that innate mentality is hypocrisy and corruption. But we'll say that now. You know, you come to this country, you provide, within our economy, help this country to grow, blah, 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 blah. But what did you do? You did the opposite too. That's what I'm not getting. That's what I can't wrap my head around. Like everything else in this government, it's just hypocrisy. You create this so-called dependency, but yet and still, when it becomes a problem, then all of a sudden it's bad. You open the borders. You say, come on in. Come into a country that's not even yours anyway. The very people that should be president, the very people that should make up the House of Representatives, the Senate, the Congress, the Supreme Court, how many of those people are actually in political authority? The native. You hear what I'm saying? The Native Americans. It ain't Tonto. And the Lone Ranger. Or some Walt Disney movie, or some movie with Kevin Costner, some white man being a hero. It's not that either. You weren't heroes. You were the savages that took this country from these people. And because you thought your intellectual prowess was more than these people, and yes, that quote-unquote controversial subject, once again, religion, you battered that into their heads. Use God. Another hypocritical agenda here in this country. Separation of church and state. You don't want God involved in your politics, but yet and still, your politics, since its foundation, you use the Bible to manipulate your corruption, your thievery. But all of a sudden now, in the 20th century, you don't want to have anything to do with it. No, I want to protect my Muslims and my atheists. I want to protect the fools out there taking down crosses, taking prayer out of school. What's going to be next? You want to burn the Bible next? Close the doors of the church? These are characteristics of criminals who wants to take away the rights of the people, like you did the Native American Indian. Place them on reservations. You don't put them in a seat of authority. You put them on reservations. That separatism, of that ethnocentric mentality that you have, that only your opinion counts, only your authority counts, only the way that you communicate counts. You're a bunch of mentally ill asses. The reason why I speak the way I do, the reason why I inform and educate American people who want to be educated, and to be very honest and tell you the truth, there's a lot out there who don't want to be educated. They love being mindless zombies. They love being mindless zombies, being told what to do, sucking on the governmental proverbial tit, never weaning themselves away to try to understand what individuality is, why some of us search for the truth, why others just live in a lie for decades and centuries. I uphold my Native American brothers, and I support them 100%. And I support those who come into this country, as you call quote unquote illegally, because guess what? They have the right to. because you came over here illegally. You don't have the right to set your foot on this country. You don't have the right to set your houses here. You don't have the right to set your education or set up your government here because it's not your country. It should not be called the United States of America. It should be called the Native States of America. Because that's what it truly is. Because we are not united. We never were united. We were separatists. And I know it hurts. And I know I'm probably pissing a lot of people off, but guess what? It's the truth. The truth is going to hurt. Until you get those people off the reservation and put them in the position in America the way they should as leaders, I'm going to constantly be in your face and tell you the truth. Until you pay those people what is due them for the decades that the injustice was imposed upon these people, the genocide of these people. And no amount of money you can give these people is going to justify that. What you should do, Mr. President, Mr. Supreme Court, Mr. Senate, House of Representatives, legislation, lawmakers, give them people back their country. No, but you won't do that. Because that's just to admit your fraudulent activity of your forefathers. And trust me, a day will come. You will face justice. And you will be accountable for your crimes against the Native Americans. God will see that happen. So the next time you open your mouth and talk about illegal immigrations, look in the mirror. Every single person in America, besides being Native American, you are illegal immigrants. All of you. So they have a right to be here just like you do. I'm not saying the element that comes over here, the gangs, the criminals, the drug lords, but we also have those here too. So what? Is one sector worse than the other? They're all criminals. Just like the ones who found this country. Criminals. The history. Karma. As they say, karma's a bitch. However you find something that is not based on ethic or moral fortitude, it's corrupt. And the filth shows up. That crime you created. That mentality you created. Because it didn't inherently possess something by truth, you stole it, then how can you point a finger at anybody else for doing this exact same thing that you did? That's what I don't get. That's what I can't wrap my head around. And that's what pisses me off about this governmental infrastructure. It's like a two-headed snake. You trust one, the other bites you. You trust the other one bites you. So you want to know the truth about America? Sit down and talk to a Native American Indian, like I have. I've talked to my relatives. I've talked to my ancestors. As a boy, I was shown my family tree. I saw my great great grandmother with hair down to her ankles, a Native American. And don't ever assume when I talk about something that I haven't done my homework, because I have. Just because a particular governmental infrastructure are in place and has authority doesn't make it right. When you implement the injustice, the inhumane actions against a class of people, what does that make you? Nothing more than criminals. You can't talk about justice when you're constantly committing criminal activity every day, robbing the American people. You can't talk about criminals enthroned in the multi prisons around this world when you're allowing $4.2 billion in fraud go within the IRS without being rectified. The billions and billions of dollars being embezzled by the banking and Wall Street. Have they served a day in prison? Quote unquote, white collar crime. So one hand you're saying it's okay, but the other hand you're saying it's not, based on, again, ethnocentric mentality. It's right when we say that it is. Do as I say, but don't do as I do mentality. That doesn't work with me. I'm sorry. It does not work with me. If I'm accountable to those laws, you too should be accountable of those laws. If I have to go to prison or jail for breaking the law, your ass should go to prison for breaking the law. Nobody is above the law. And if it's so, then there is no law. We are in true anarchy. So don't ever come to me with mindless, idiotic, mundane stupidity, because it don't register here. You want to be a man with ethnic and moral fortitude? You want to be a woman of ethnic moral fortitude? Then come talk to me. You want to be a coward and hide behind your criminal activity and call it justice, call it democracy? Stay the hell away from me, because I'm not going to accept you. Too many American people have accepted this form of corruption, this form of historical lies as truth. And when the truth comes out, they're stupefied and saying, really, did that happen? If you can read, get your lazy ass away from that idiot tube, put down the iPod and iPads and actually use those things to educate yourself, you would find out the same things I find out. But you won't do that. Why? Because you're mindless zombies. I just want to be told what to do. I want to be a slave. I got the chains. I got the thing around my neck it's called democracy from a dictatorship. Take away my rights. Take away my civil liberties. Take away my freedoms. I don't need them. I'm just a mindless zombie. Just do whatever you told me to do. No. For there are few of us who actually are individuals, who actually think, use this up here for something more than a hat rack. And until we do, I don't care how much we preach of change. I don't care how much we cry little tears. I don't care how much we have these inspirational speeches that pretty much transition of nothingness, but the same corruption that was the same decades and centuries ago. Don't even mention, Uncle Sam, don't even mention illegal immigration. Because you yourself and everyone in this country, besides the Native American Indians, are illegal immigrants. I'm out. Peace.